Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. So I'm in the garage once again. It is Saturday afternoon, it's probably approaching evening by now. I got out of work about noontime and made a beeline home so I can dive headfirst into this project. So all of the little nubs and pieces and things that were left behind earlier during the removal of a bunch of useless parts, I got them all cleaned up, and everything's smoothed out as far as basically in construction, I guess you would call it rough grade. Now there's going to be a few pieces in here where I'm going to be putting the adjustable splitting wedge, and I'm going to have to take a couple different size plates to make up this part. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer, give you an idea what I'm working with. All right, so I gotta be careful what I put my hands on here because this thing is teetering. I got a big 3/16 steel plate. It's a very odd shape from previous projects many years back. And this is kind of teetering on here. But, so on this side of the H-beam web and that side, I have to take a piece of 3/16 plate and the whole width of the web, and I'd say back from here back into the web area. I'm going to be basically padding that out. All right, padding it out because let me move this back. Ooh. All right, and think about that. Hold on a second. Got it buried a little bit. So, from the steel shop, Greg, the gentleman that runs that place over there, I'm assuming he's the owner. I could be wrong. So these pieces of 1/2-inch mild steel are going to be going in here. Okay. And in here is going to be slightly more than a 1-inch. Oh, shoot. You guys can't see what the heck I'm doing. So there's going to be a plate on this side of the web and a plate on that side of the web, and it's going to come out. And there's going to be a 1-inch or slightly over a 1-inch pocket in between. All right. And that's where that wedge is going to come up and down in. And I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this video have seen how the other splitters are built. And I'm not trying to do too much different than what they're doing because they've already got it figured out. They're really good at what they do. And there's really no reason to deviate too far from that. So this 3/16 plate, okay, is going to pad this out. I'm going to put it on both sides. It's going to pad this out, and that's going to give me pretty much a 1-inch space in between those 1/2-inch plates. Now I need more than 1 inch. And I'll show you guys later on down the road as I get further into this part as to how I'm going to make that work. so show you why I've been going through all this hubbub. Okay, so I want to have a little bit of space at the top and bottom of the beam in the web, and to get some good welds in there. And then so I get the right offset. I've been trying to get it to fit flat on the web in the middle. So that's why I've been going through all this with the plasma cutter, getting this bevel so that, where are we? Right there, see how that H-beam has, right there, it's like a curve, it's like a radius. So I'm trying to make sure that this piece sits flat on that web. That way, when I'm working on trying to get the spacing for that vertical wedge in between these two plates, when I'm working on trying to get it just right, I need to do everything up to the point of welding this in just right. Everything's got to be, you know, clean, flat, smooth, and just right for the ending result to be, well, just right. So trying to take my time here. Want to make sure that this stuff comes out straight. Straight's going to look good, straight's going to last longer, and straight's going to make me feel better. All right, everybody. So I'm getting ready to wind down for the evening. It's still technically kind of early. However, for every half hour to an hour that I continue to work out here in the cold garage, the longer it's going to take me to clean up the mess, to get it out of the way, to get the Polaris Ranger back in the garage for tomorrow's feeding time. So, again, like I said, shared space can be can be a little frustrating sometimes. I'd like to be able to just leave everything where it is. However, that's just not the life I live. So I got these plates in. Okay, I got them all beveled and ready to go. They're all cut to length, and we're gonna put these plates in tomorrow. That's what my goal is for tomorrow. We're gonna put all these plates in, one on both sides, and it's gonna come out real close to what I need for the space. It's gonna come out really, really close. But we'll have to see how things go once I start getting this 1-inch plate here cut. Now, talking about the 1-inch plate, bring that on topic. My plasma cutter is just a Harbor Freight deal. Okay, so I think that not meant to, but its maximum cut thickness, if I remember correctly, is sever. It can sever up to 5/8. Okay, and sever means like kind of sloppy and, you know, a struggle, right? So 1 inch, I'm kind of thinking it's not going to do that. So my only option is to painstakingly cut this 1-inch plate with a 6-inch right angle grinder with a cutting disc on it, basically a demo saw. So it's going to be long, it's going to be daunting, it's going to suck. But unfortunately, that's kind of what I'm working with here. And that's the only way I can get a relatively straight edge when I'm cutting. So my experience has been with the plasma cutters. I'm not so sure about the acetylene torches, if they do it or not. I haven't really, because this here was cut with oxyacetylene, and I've never messed with this cut, so I don't know if it's hardened at all from the temperature. But I have noticed that almost like when you try to grind a weld versus grinding mild steel that has not been welded or heated in any way, the cut from a plasma cutter is very similar in hardness. I could be wrong, but it just seems that way to me. Whenever I've gone to grind a severed area from my plasma cutter, it's always been a little bit more of a slow process. So anyway, before my lovely voice activated air compressor decided to rudely interrupt. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm stuck with, cutting this. Now, as far as getting the cutting edge, I've tossed back and forth the idea of, trying to sneak up. You can see where I scribbled that out. I measured back in about 1.25 inches. I think that should be, by the time you get to 50% of the plate, 1.25 inch pitch from each side. Meaning measuring back 1.25 inches, whatever that comes out to. I've never bothered to. Just looks good, right? So maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I've toyed with the idea of maybe sneaking up on it with the plasma cutter and just shaving off a little more, blowing off a little more, because as you get further back toward this white line here, okay, you go from severing, right, or slicing, then you start getting to the point where your slag starts to build up, because the further away from the tip of the torch, the less velocity or blowing power the air coming out of the nozzle has to blow that slag away. Typically when you're cutting with a torch or a plasma cutter, you're cutting and sending your stream or your slag as the air is blowing straight down, and gravity is just kind of helping you out and doing the rest. But when you're cutting on an angle like this, gravity kind of fights you. I'm sure there are higher quality plasma cutters that could easily do something like that and still get a reasonably nice cut. I wouldn't say splitter wedge clean, but it'll get you closer to your ending goal. So I think tomorrow in the morning, before our snowstorm hits, I may go to Tractor Supply and see if maybe they have a belt sander. Even that might be kind of hilarious to think that I'm going to take a handheld belt sander, hoping that they have an abrasive belt for it that is going to be good for metal. But who knows? It might work really, really well. I've seen people sand stuff like this on one of those, bench style belt sanders, the industrial ones. So it might take a lot longer. It might take 6 or 8 belts. Who knows? But this is what I'm working with. DIY can suck sometimes. So as for now, that's where I've gotten to so far. I really haven't put, well, I don't know, maybe yesterday I put in a bit of time. I think yesterday I put in, or not yesterday, I don't even remember when the heck I worked on this thing last, a few days ago. I think I probably put in like 4 hours, just getting, and when I say 4 hours, like that day, all I was doing was running around with the torch and the cutoff wheel and getting rid of all the things that I don't want. One of which is still hanging out here, but it's kind of been convenient to use for good ground. So that'll stay until further notice. But yeah, this is where we are today. Tomorrow we're gonna catch back up, and I'm gonna burn these plates in. I'm gonna get them in place, and then I think I might start tackling getting this wedge cut out of this plate. There's gonna be some extras here, extra material here that I'm gonna utilize some of it for another part of this wedge. So. But that's it. See tomorrow. You can see here I've caught myself on fire a few times already. Unfortunately, my friend Richard, he hooked me up with a nice hoodie, and I've lit myself on fire a few times, mainly just trying to protect anything in my home, my space here, from getting showered heavily with sparks and possibly causing a hot spot and getting a fire or something. So it's always a concern. So you guys really, this is not ideal as far as doing all my cutting inside. It is not ideal. It's out of the weather, yes, but if you're not careful, we could all be out in the weather, right? So that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at some point, or maybe afternoon, and we'll pick up where we left off tonight.